follow your passion first. When I retired from the game, I sat there asking kind of all the wrong questions. What's the biggest industry I can get into? And it's all the wrong stuff. And you got to sit there and ask yourself, okay, what am I truly passionate about? What do I enjoy doing? And when you feel that way, honestly, you feel like you have never worked a day in your life. It's the most fun thing in the world. You get up in the morning excited about what you're doing. And you got to be really honest with yourself about it. If you wake up in the morning and you're dreading going to work, dude, do something else. Right. Do something else. And those are hard decisions to make. But when you make those decisions, it's a very liberating experience. And you find out that the rewards will come.
I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. You always want to outwork your potential. As hard as you believe you can work harder than that. And that's what I tried to do when I first came in the league. But, basketball is such a direct competition sport. And me coming in at 17, I hated when, my teammates would say, I get hit with an elbow, right? Shaq would hit me with an elbow in practice. And, Nick Van Exel would come up and say, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "What? Mao, are you okay? What the hell's wrong with you?" So I always had that extra chip on my shoulder. So every day in practice for me was really trying to annihilate everybody that I was playing against. Because I wanted to prove you don't need to babysit me. I'm fine, And so it's always that competitive nature, the work ethic, and curiosity. Because I asked a lot of questions. Playing with Byron Scott, I asked him a lot of questions. Eddie Jones, who was great at chasing guards off the screens, and I didn't understand how to do that. I would sit with him before practice, after practice. Magic, all the Laker greats, I would always sit down and just ask them questions about certain games that I studied growing up. What actually happened there? What did you feel there? Why?
A lot of people in general are afraid of failure. How did you become one of those people who doesn't seem to be afraid of failing?
It doesn't exist. It's not existent. What the hell does that mean? Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. What does it mean?
You're pulling a Jedi mind trick on me right now. I was does it exist?
No, I'm serious. I'm trying to think, how can I explain it? So, let's use happy endings, right? And then we can relate this to failure, why it's not existing. Everybody talks about everybody wants a happy ending, right? Now let's go to the reality of it, right? Let's look at a fairy tale story. Let's look at Snow White. Mm-hmm. She gets a happy ending. She finds Prince, whatever, she goes on. She lives happily ever after. Well, I call bullshit on that because 2 months later, the fact is they had an argument and he's sleeping on the couch. Right? So the point is, the story continues. The story continues. So if you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that, right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, if I fail today, okay, I'm going to learn something from that failure and I'm going to try again on Tuesday. And I fail and I'm going to try again on Wednesday. So,
have you ever gone on the court and been afraid?
No, I've never been afraid. Obviously you're nervous, but afraid means you're not confident in your skills. I have total confidence in my skills, so I'm not afraid.
You had the utmost confidence. The confidence level was through the roof. Where is it now?
On top of the roof. I don't think my confidence changed. I wouldn't have come back into this situation.
I never feel that I'm at my best. I feel I still have room to improve. I still set goals for myself to strive for. I'm never complacent with what I've achieved. Even though it's been very successful for me, I still feel I have a lot to prove, not just as a player, but as a person, as a father, to some extent, as a role model, in all aspects. So I'm never really too complacent with myself or with what I've achieved. When I get to a point where I feel I can improve as a player, I walk away from the game. I still feel that I have a plateau that, I hadn't reached yet in terms of my skills or my expectations of myself. I'm always going to expect myself to do certain things or surpass certain things. As long as I believe that, then, my road to success is to continue to expand.
3, that's enough, isn't it?
Enough for you?
No, for you.
No, it's never enough.
Okay.
Never enough as long as you compete. You know, it's always great to win. That's why you compete. And I think, you know, we're going to certainly try to do this for the 4th time. You know, but right now, the 3rd time was a lot of damn work.
You're hungry or you full yet?
No, you feel yourself getting full because each time that you win, it takes away a little bit of that hunger, you know, which is a challenge within itself. You know, it's a battle within the mind to find a challenge to go to that same place that you've been 5 times before. You know, and that's hard. You know, when people say, "Well, the first one was the hardest," no. The last one's the hardest because you're battling with yourself.
If I can really elaborate on why I said myself more so than another athlete, is that because a lot of times I had to battle with myself to keep challenging myself. You know, that to me was why I would say that the biggest battle was myself. Because when you get to a certain pinnacle, you got to find some ways to keep going out there for 82 games.
My competitive drive is far greater than anyone else that I've met. You know, I think that I thrive on that. I think that's my biggest motivation in life, you know, is to compete, you know, find different competitions and certain things in life and try to overcome that, you know, be it positive or negative. But I have yet to meet someone who is as competitive as me, you know, and I just feel that much confident about my competitive drive.
At the end of my career, you never get someone to say that he didn't leave it out on the floor. You know, wins and losses and ties and things that happens throughout the course of life. It's just how you pick yourself up. It's how you continue to get better and better. And the difference between me and a lot of other people, or a lot of people that's played the game of basketball, they get so in depth and so deep about, you know, putting everything in the game of basketball. I'm true to who I am. I'm true to my family. I'm true to my teammates. I'm true to my craft. And then at the end of the day, whatever happens, happens. So, you know, I could care less about a finals record. I could care less if I don't, you know, play well at this game, or, you know, if my teammates don't show up, because I know how much I put into the game and nobody can ever take that away from me.
A lot of people said I was a selfish person, a selfish basketball player, and you know, I strive on being a team player, you know, doing whatever it takes to help this team win. But at the same time, I use it as motivation. And you know, I'm happy that I was able to make enough plays to put ourselves in a position to win this championship. You know, I knew what got me to this point, and that was hard work and dedication. And I never had to prove anything to anyone. You know, in my first 7 years, I just went out and let the game take care of itself. And last year, I tried to prove something to everybody. You know, and I played with a lot of hate, and that's not the way I play the game of basketball. I play with a lot of love, with a lot of passion, and that's what I got back to this year.
I hold myself up to a standard higher than anyone, so that keeps me going.
I just knew what we was capable of, even being down 3-1 versus the greatest regular season team ever. You know, 73-9, and everybody counted us out, and that's when we strive the most, when everybody counted us out. And that's definitely when I strive the most, when everybody counts me out.
No pressure. No pressure at all. I've been getting pressure since I was 10 years old. I don't think there's no pressure for me because I'm doing something that I love to do, and that's play the game of basketball.
And at the end of my career, what I was able to accomplish would make me happy and make me satisfied, because I don't play for what people expect me to do anymore. You know, I want to be the greatest of all time, and that's just my mindset. Mm-hmm. Wherever they lay me at the end of my career, and you know, if it's 1 or 9 or 12 or whatever the case may be, Smitty, I had a great time.